like say I'm going to start from basic. Okay, given the question, sine A is 3b, tangent B is negative 5/12. Alright, they told you that both A and B lie in the same quadrant without the use of a calculator. Whenever you tackle such a question, the first thing that comes to your mind, if you cannot use a calculator, you must make use of a right angle triangle. Okay, so what do we do first? Since sine A is 3/5, what do I do? You all know the fourth quadrant? ASTC. Okay, who is not familiar with ASTC? All remember? Okay, this one means all the trigo terms, whatever inputs from 0 to 90 degrees, when you press it, you'll get a positive value. Similarly, this one only for sine from 90 to 180, you'll always be positive. Likewise, for tangent, in the third quadrant from 180 to 270, you'll be positive. Last quadrant, 270 to 360 or back to 0, you'll be positive for cosine. This one is okay? So now, we need to single out which quadrant A and B lies in. Am I right to say that? So let us check. If A, sine of A is 3b is positive. H1, can you tell me which quadrant will you lie in? First and second. Okay, Jia tangent B is negative. Alright? Which quadrant will you lie in? I don't want S. I want which quadrant? Okay, second quadrant will be negative as well as the fourth or the last quadrant. So now, it must satisfy both conditions. Am I right to say that? So which quadrant do we choose? Second quadrant. So I'm going to shade the second quadrant. So you must tell yourself both A and B lie in the second quadrant. Second quadrant means it must be from 90 degrees all the way to 180 degrees. Am I right to say that? Okay, now we can get started. What do you mean by get started? Cannot use the calculator and yet we need to solve. 1 plus 1. Cosine 2a. Do you think you can find cosine 2a immediately from here? Not possible. So tell yourself, be smart. Whenever you come to this topic called trigonometry, straight away refer to the formula list. If you refer to the formula list, you realize cosine 2a, there are 3 particular ones you can use. Am I right? Okay. Make a good choice. Which one do you think you want to use? Yes, sir. Okay? Sine square a minus. Are you sure it's sine square a minus 1?
1 minus 2. Oh, 2 sine square.
1 minus 2 sine square a. Okay, why do you choose this? Thank you. Sine a is already given to you. Am I right? You don't have to find any other thing. So this is the best choice. So remember, even though cosine 2a has 3 different formula or trigo identity, always choose the one that is the most convenient. Are we able to submit this value now? Okay, I'm going to show you. And we can press the calculator and get the answer. Am I right? Okay, this one no issue. But what if I'm not certain? I cannot identify this one. Let's say I happen to identify another one. This is the first formula they gave. Am I right? Am I right to say this is the very first one? Okay, if let's say I'm not as far as certain, I didn't identify this one. I actually use this one. Can I still solve? I can. Cosine A, do I have it? Don't have. Am I right? Don't have. It's my job to go and find it. How? Don't have, only cosine A, right? How?
Right angle triangle.
Thank you. Just now I already said use a right angle triangle. Label this as angle A. Because your trigo ratio always make use of right angle triangle. Let's say this is angle A. Sine is actually opposite over hypotenuse. Am I right? So this is 3, this is 5. What will be this length? 4. You use the hypotenuse. Okay? Similarly, if you want to find for B, this is angle B. Tangent is what? What side over what side, Navin? So opposite is 5, this is 12. Do I need to write a negative 5 or negative 12 inside here?
No.
Yes or no? How do I decide whether I need a negative? Anyone? Yes, Melissa? Quadrant. Okay? Over at the right angle triangle, it will always be positive. These are all dimensions. Okay, lengths are always positive. There is no negative value. Just find the corresponding hypotenuse, you should get 13 over here. Now, like what Melissa just mentioned, you have to decide which quadrant it is in, so that whether it's going to be positive or negative. Take a look over here for angle A. Sine A is 3 over 5 because it's in the second quadrant. Anything in the second quadrant for sine will always be positive. Let's work out the other two. Other than sine, what else can we work out? Anything? You only got sine A, what else? Okay, let's do cosine A first. What's cosine A over here? Adjacent over? 4 over 5. The next thing, like what Melissa mentioned, you need to check the quadrant. Which quadrant are we in? Second. Second quadrant for cosine will always be positive or negative? Negative. Okay, so please remember a negative sign. Likewise for tangent. I'm just going to do it quickly. Tangent in the second quadrant is negative as well. Take a look at the right angle triangle. So opposite over adjacent, negative 3 over 4. Okay, can I give you 30 seconds to work out what is cosine B, sine B? Okay, please write all this down. This is a very useful question whenever you come across a question that says without a use of calculator. First thing, you need to find out what the quadrant is, and then you need to make use of the right angle triangle. And this is already the use of the double angle formula itself. Brandon, what's cosine B?
Negative 12 over 13.
How about sine B?
5 over 13.
Okay, remember all these are your working. Alright, all these are your working. There may be method marks depending on the question itself. Now, if I happen to choose this particular formula instead of the one that's gotten for us, please use the correct one. Substitute inside, and I'm very certain you should get the same set of answers regardless of which formula that you use. Even if you use another one. Okay, 2 cosine square, A minus 1, all 3 formulas should give you the same answer. Even what's the answer? Don't wait for me to give you all the answer, you should work out everything. You got a calculator, right? The first calculator. Sorry? This answer? Same, You sure? Do you check? You just assume it's the same, Okay, next. Whenever you have a final answer, I would like you to underline your final answer. Because especially true for A math, sometimes you have a few answers within a question itself. So you need to indicate to the marker which is your final answer. Steven, is it correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now with this example, I would like you to try part 2 and part 3 yourself. Part 2 is straightforward. Part 3 you have to think a little. Remember, your best friend is the formula sheet. I want you to be very familiar with the formula sheet. Okay, know which formula to look out for. Especially true for double angle. Okay, these are all direct questions. We're looking at direct questions, except part 3 is thinking questions. numerator, part 2, what formula do we use? Sin 2b equal to? And then after that, plug in the value from here immediately, right? So what's your final answer? Negative? This is the one. Okay, next thing I need to alert you all, everyone, take note, regardless E-maths or A-maths. A-maths, they will not penalize. But as much as possible, final answer, leave it as proper fraction. I don't want improper fraction. Okay, this is fine because the numerator is still smaller. Okay, I need to let you know why. Because some teachers will say it's okay. Am I right to say your teacher say okay for A-maths? It's not okay for E-maths. Because you'll be penalized. So to make sure I don't have such problem, I'll rather every time let's leave it as proper fraction. Okay, this is the one done. Anyone know what to do for this one? Yes, Ryan, what do you do? Okay, then? Okay, everyone can whiteboard now. Okay, do you all realize the thing about double angle formula? This is the double angle, am I right? It's double of A. Whatever formula that you use and apply, you realize it's half of it. Do you all realize? This is half of the original angle. Similarly, this is half of the original angle, am I right? Likewise, the one that Hazel gave it to us. This is sine of 2b. Eh? The angle all becomes half. All agree? So you must be smart enough to know that if it's something divided by 2, definitely which particular formula you want to use? Double angle formula. But the thing is, most of you all will not be able to get it. Why? Because if you refer to the formula sheet, if I have tangent 2b, what do I get? 1, 2, not 1, 2 tangent b over
1 minus tangent b.
1 minus tangent b squared. Am I right? Eh? There's no way this one will look like this one. Do you agree? This one will not look like this one. But if I want a tangent b over 2, what's going to happen? If I'm saying, if I want this to become a tangent b over 2, remember, the original angle will end up the formula everything divided by 2. You agree? This is 2b, I need to divide by 2 to become b. So if I want this to become b over 2, this must become b over 4. You think this is a sound decision to make? I use this formula? Possible or not? Can I find? Abi? Can find? Can how? You got tangent b over 4 here. Huh? Divide by 4, no. It's different, Take note. Tangent b over 4 is different from tangent b, the whole thing divided by 4. What is tangent b over 4? This is the angle divided by 4 before you apply the tangent. But this one is different. This is to apply the tangent to b before you divide the whole answer by 4. So we don't have that. Okay? But my point in illustrating this one is it's definitely double angle. But why I cannot get the correct one? Ryan, what should we do? Cannot learn? Thank you. Okay, you can see the trick now. The thing now is, yes, this is the formula given to you. You know that you need to divide by 2 somewhere. But you cannot use the tangent b over 2 over here. Am I right? But what if I don't use tangent 2b? I can use tangent b is equal to 2 tangent. What do I get over here for the angle? What do I get? B over 2. Over 1 minus tangent square B over 2. It's just that it's not part nicely anymore. So this is a thinking question. It's unlike the other two, it's straight away fucking formula you can get. This is a reverse question by itself. Who is lost now? Anyone? Okay. Okay. Do we have a tangent B over 2 over here? We have. We have a tangent B over 2, but it's a square over here. But the thing is, we only have values over here for tangent B. So what do? I plug in this value called tangent B first. Now my job is going to find out tangent B over 2. How? Cross multiply. Okay, some of you may not be able to see because of the fact that this is a tangent B over 2. It looks very ugly, got fraction like that. But if I simplify it for you, let can you solve for A now? This is simple E-maths question, right? After you cross multiply, you are solving for quadratic equation. Am I right? After you solve for A, am I right to say that I already found the value of tangent B over 2? Okay, can you do that now? Okay, please put this as a star question. Whenever I say star question, these are thinking questions which I will be testing you all as well. Okay? So I already tell you again already. The next quiz or the next test, this concept will be tested. All these are not star questions because they are direct questions. I don't need to put a star. These are thinking questions. This is a backward technology kind of question. Okay? After that, find the value of A by doing your normal cross multiplication. After that, solve for quadratic equation.